Hello. I'm finally bringing a long way awaiting review of Sekiro Shadows Die Twice. I finished that game like a month and a half ago, almost 2 months now. I wouldn't say I didn't have time, but at the same time I was just too lazy to record myself and do the video. But here I am. I'm piling up a lot of reviews. As you guys can see, I have two more. I got Dragon Quest 11, which I'm about to finish it, hopefully in 2 or 3 more days. And Death Stranding, I also finished it very recently, like 2 days ago or 3. But today I'm going to talk about that one, Sekiro Shadows Die Twice. I think it's the best Dark Souls game that I've played. Well, I wouldn't call it. I'm not sure if I can call it Dark Souls, but let's call it that way. It's the Dark Souls of hack and slash games. It's really combining the best of both worlds. It sheds the whole fantasy of build crafting to offer an experience centered entirely on learning enemies, characters, environments, and the player's own skills. These are the 4 fundamental pillars of the game, forming the foundation that turns a simple combat system into something incredibly difficult to master. It's a path for the most dedicated, where cheating the system is more often punished than rewarded, in the form of lost time and emotional strain. Each enemy has its own unique timing, with animations that act as visual cues to know when to press the correct parry button. This ranges from the lizard you encounter spitting poison to the flame demon you might run into while wandering around looking for items. And it's not just about the single attack timing. Standard enemies usually have 3 or 4 different combos, each with animation that vary by milliseconds, which can completely change your perceptions of their patterns. Add to that the attacks within those combos that cannot be blocked and can leave you wide open to a lethal hit if you don't react in time. There are 2 effective types of reactions: the one that keeps the fight going with a parry followed by an attack or another parry depending on the enemy, and the classic breather to regain vitality, posture, or calmly manage your inventory. And of course, there are mini bosses and unique bosses, which usually have double or triple the number of combos spread across multiple phases. Some are so complex that a single fight can feel like 20 different ones throughout the game. Then there are the characters. Here, characters are less cryptic than in Dark Souls. They tend to give more hints about what they want or need and are more visible. In that sense, following a questline isn't a mystery, and it's actually more rewarding that way. If I wanted a detective game, I'll play Ace Attorney or some obscure graphic adventure like Grim Fandango. This helps reinforce the bond between major and minor characters in a game that's incredibly tough. Ishin and the Rats, Emma, the Buddha Sculptor, the black-hatted badger, the black samurai lured by a melody, the rice girl, the lonely brute, etc. All of them have something to share throughout the game, and the way they are presented is very natural, though you can still miss some if you don't explore thoroughly. The environments are expansive, and unlike in Souls games, verticality and stealth actually work and honor what we imagine when we think of ninjas and shinobis. In fact, understanding this framework is crucial during your first playthrough. Every nook and cranny you can exploit matters. To gain an advantage before facing a tougher enemy, reduce potential casualties, or perhaps finding a hidden reward. The only real downside of the environments is their almost non-existent involvement in boss fights, which are either overwhelmingly large or small, no in between. But this is a common issue in the genre. Eventually, some studio making soulslikes or hack and slash games will figure out how to be more original on that side. Finally, the combat system is quite simple to understand. There's nothing overly complex or button combos like in a traditional fighting game, but it does demand 100% of the player's focus to be truly enjoyed. There's the typical health bar and a posture stagger bar to show how well you are doing. The posture bar is what matters the most, as it's the window for landing or receiving a death blow. The health bar is almost decorative, since you usually die in 2 hits and enemies don't even flinch. What's interesting is that since it's entirely based on parrying, the key is hitting the right button at the right time, whether it's a double jump, a stomp, or just guarding. In other words, your performance depends more on your reaction to specific inputs than on changing slashes through a command string. To make it more challenging, the flow of combat needs to continue after that parry for the posture bar to keep filling. The only real break is pausing. Running away to heal only drags out the fight, and this applies to almost every enemy in the game, not just bosses. Just like in hack and slash games, this progression becomes even more evident in subsequent playthroughs, when you start to really explore what the combat system has to offer. You know the environments, you more or less know the enemies' timings and animations, you're aware of what the specific characters are, and you begin to experiment against every enemy and boss. If I could parry this one with a stone, can I do the same with a double jump against this other one? Can I sidestep here and counterattack to keep the flow going? It's that sense of personal improvement, combined with its straightforward parry-based gameplay and the absence of a performance tracker telling you how fast you're going, that makes it an incredible and unique hack and slash within the genre. Other details worth mentioning: the game is much more spectacular despite being less epic in enemy size and design, thanks to those satisfying death blows the player can dish out. It's fully dubbed in Spanish, it has a few technical hiccups that slightly mar the experience, and that's about it. The last thing that I have to say is the score. I rated this game a 10 out of 10. It's, for me personally, the best Dark Souls I've ever played. I still have to play Elden Ring, which apparently is the masterpiece that everyone has played so far. Like last time I think it was like 35 millions of players or units sold. That was fucking crazy. I'm probably going to play that game once it releases on Switch too. Not sure if on launch day, because it will mainly depends on the price. If it's £60, I'll wait until it gets to £40 or something like that. 50 maybe, 60 that's way too much. But yeah, that's it for me, and I'll see you on the next one. Ciao ciao. What?
九郎殿も喜んでおります。参りましょう。西に神なる竜の故郷に。
I'm not sure if I like this ending. But the game is a fucking masterpiece. Alright, that's it for me.